This is the place to be, and the place to be is the MacAttack Show. As we stroll into Thanksgiving 2020, the MacAttack wishes to thank all of the inspired young men and women inside and outside of the resilient CIAA for your strong commitment to excellence, your positive and courageous attitudes, and your dedication and devotion through joy and pain, sunshine and rain. May those who have suffered through this year of adversity continue to bend with adversity, but never ever allow it to break you. For
Mm.
those who are no longer with us in the flesh, but remain strong in spirit, we will continue to pray that their souls rest in soulful peace. May all evil, bitterness, and social unrest be eviscerated from our minds so that our hearts will allow our eyes to see beyond the hues. And one day in this great nation, people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their souls and the depth of their character. JMac, it is a blessing to call you a colleague and a friend and be part of the Mac Attack. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Oh, Clyde, happy Thanksgiving to you too. I've said this to you, going through this last 9 months, there's nobody better that I would want to go through this as an administrator and a colleague and a friend. You have been more than a blessing to this conference. And so just thank you. I mean, even this show it's been great. It's the one thing I look forward to on Mondays that we get to do. So thank you. It's a pleasure to spend this day with you as we go into this Thanksgiving season.
Yo, Jack, the moment brings about different things in our lives. And this moment of pain brought about this gain that we are experiencing with the Mac attack. And it brought about a lot of other things that we recognize about ourselves. And, as we go through the show, a lot of folks get on and talk about the great things that they're doing that they wouldn't have the opportunity to do had they been running around, flying around, scheduling, compliance, facility management, games, family. So now everybody is taking a step back, and I hope it shows the world we need to take a step back. It has discovered some other things too, that the social arrest, and I know you talk very much about it, and I know you're going to talk about it now, has brought about a lot of different focus and a lot of different mindsets of young people to say, look, vote does count.
Yeah.
My voice does count.
Yeah.
My attitude does count. So we need to move forward and keeping that spirit going.
Yeah. No, I agree, Clyde. This morning I participated in doing a diversity and inclusion with the hospitality community and businesses, and we're taking part of it as well because we're going there, this coming year. And I go into these D&I spaces feeling sometimes discouraged, sometimes feeling anxious, sometimes worried about how the conversation is going to go, sometimes just tired of talking about it. And I do think this year has truly put a pause on a lot of different things, right? It's put a pause on everything that you said, how we live, what we think about, what's most important, who we want to be around, what we're going to advocate for, how we're going to spend our money and our time. And what I've learned, the pause of not being silent anymore. That's the one thing that I have tried to work on for a very long time, is using my voice in the spaces where I can help make change and make impact. And I don't want to pause to make other people comfortable anymore. And I hope that in this lesson of this 9 months that we've been in, that people have found a way to show and lead their voices, no matter what color you are. We all have a place and opportunity to really do something different in this season.
Um, Jack, we go through and we work with a lot of people, Jack, on many different levels, the CACC, the Commissioners Conference, the ADA Conference, but most important, it's our staffs,
Yeah.
that really make us who we are and what we do and how we do things. And tell me a little bit about your great staff at the CIAA. A lot of people don't know how well they function together and how they come together and do what they do to make the CIAA what it is.
Clyde, I said earlier, there's no greater person that I could go through and work through this with as you. But there's no greater team that I can be playing with every day, and that's the CIAA staff. I don't really know if people recognize what they put in and what they put out every single day. I mean, this is hard work, and it's hard work because you are working in between your membership, your student athletes, sponsors, the community, the board. mean, we have a bunch of different political, I mean, and trying to keep the brand alive. I mean, and so you have all these pieces that you're trying to carry in the puzzle to keep it together. And the one thing that I'm certain of is that we as a team, we call ourselves the gladiators. And part of it, somebody called me Olivia Pope some years ago, as we were just challenged with everything and we would just fix it. We become great fixers, but I think we have become great strategists, and we're heart leaders on our team. And when you have members of your team that really think about others more than themselves, it makes the work so good. And it's not like we lay down for each other. It's not in a way where you say it and you're right. We challenge each other too. And I love the fact that we do it with respect and value. And they're good family people. They love their families, they love their own communities. And so they make my job really easy. So I get to do this kind of stuff. I get to serve on boards and committees, and I get to be prepared for my board in more ways than people even know because they prepare me to be prepared. And I love it. And I see them as leaders themselves. Everyone who has been hired to think of themselves as the next commissioner or the next director or the next vice president. You don't get to just come in and just feel like you have no role. Everybody has a place in our organization. And I just think it's a blessing that I get to work with them every day. So I was getting ready to cry for like 2 seconds because in this season of Thanksgiving, I told them that I'm really thankful for them.
And Jack, as you manage and work with the conference, there's so many moving parts, and you spoke about those parts with the board and the inside and the outside. And looking at myself working with the ADA, the Athletic Directors Association, being on management councils with the FARs, the athletic trainers, the senior women's administrators, the compliance officers,
Yeah.
it has been a joy to see people come together and synergize and work together for the common goal. And this year, our common goal has been safety, health, and welfare
Yeah.
of all those participants within the CIAA and how we can now safeguard them. And sometimes it's painful because folks, they want to play. We want to play. Come
Yeah.
on, man. Where's the balls? Let's go. Give me the baton. I'm ready to run, and there's no baton, there's no balls, and
Right.
we are looking at how now we make the adjustments, the necessary
Yeah.
adjustment. And back on campuses and all the athletic directors work, not in a bubble, because especially at D2, we can't work in a bubble. We have to work with our campus constituents. And I work with my president, Dr. Bro, who's been an extremely servant leader throughout this process and has shown up every day and put her best foot forward, to manage Bowie State University and my cabinet members. And without them, we are nothing without each other. We're our strongest link, and all our links are joined together to make sure that we do what we need to do for academic excellence, develop socially, and
Yeah.
do what we do for the long-term visibility of the institution and the CIAA.
Clyde, how have you been able to juggle all of that? I mean, I think there's moments that we've had, like we're both like this, but at the end of the day, so many people are depending on leadership. People need leadership. Families need leadership, right? So how do you manage that for yourself and maintain it? What advice would you give to other leaders or ADs or administrators in your role, to maintain and sustain during this time?
We're Jackie, and I take a moment when I need to take that moment, when I feel that dearth of energy coming on me, where I sit down. Sometimes I go home, I'll sit down on the couch and I won't turn the television on. I won't even turn the light on. I just sit there and
Yeah.
relax. Because if I take that moment for myself, I'm going to be no good to anybody else that I need to serve or needs me to help get through their moment. And it's this is a cliche game face, because sometimes we could be like this. As soon as I have to get on this film, I know I got to be like this because people are relying on me to be
Yeah.
Clyde Dowdy Jr., aka Cool Mac, and for Jackie McWilliams to be J Mac when we get on this show. But when we're in different sets, we have to make sure that we're appropriate We're experienced, and I think that helps us get through what we need to get through. Our lived experience has told us we have to take this time off, or we have to get ready for this, because if we did not do that, we should not be in the position that we are today.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of weight on our shoulders, but they tell me that God doesn't give us more than we can carry, and we're carrying this, and that's not a burden. It's
No.
just weight. People always say at the top of the totem pole. Well, the top of the totem pole is the easiest spot. It's the bottom of the totem pole. And we sit at that bottom of the totem pole and we carry a lot of weight, and we are trying to ensure that everybody gets what they need on every level so they can grow. So, I don't know if I answered your question, but, I have to realize when I need to take time. I have to manage the time. I got a lot of things going on like everybody else, but that's no excuse. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's got a lot going on, and I have to listen. I've learned through this process, I have to listen intently to other people to get them to, so I can help them get to their journeys and fulfill their objectives and goals as they travel on their yellow brick journey. So those are some of the things that I think helps me get through my day.
Yeah, Clyde, today I was telling my staff I made up an acronym for thanks. So I want to talk to you about this, okay? My T is trust. When I say trust, what does that look like? As a community or as an athletic director, as a conference, what does that look like?
When I trust someone, I don't have to worry about them anymore. That when you tell me something, that it's done. I don't have to go back and say, what did Jackie just tell me? I don't have to think about it. If Jackie tells me something that is beneficial or should be beneficial to my development or BSU or the CIAA, then there's no questions asked. That's trust.
Yeah, I got you, Clyde. That's trust.
That's trust. I got you. When you tell me to do something, I got you. I don't answer. Now, sometimes people trust people to the point where they can be in trouble and you don't think about things. But then over a period of time, you get to know who you're dealing with. And that's where that trust is developed on a long-term relationship, that they have your best interest at heart and they will not lead you down to the dark side. We
Yeah.
got to stay with the force.
Yes.
Don't go to the dark side. Force
I
being
got.
with you. You got me?
What about your heart?
Oh, my heart. First of all, my heart belongs to me, first and foremost. Then I have to share my heart with those who are willing to understand and be part of my community. And my community has a lot of folks in it. The village has grown into a community. It used to be this little village, now it's a community. So my heart is investment. That's what I look at my heart. I invest my heart into my community, and I really need to share that love in my heart with all those in my community.
I love that, Clyde. And what I've learned with that, I totally agree, is that sometimes you can't worry about what people don't bring back to your heart. You got to be okay with what you share. Don't get beat up on your heart, but you got to be okay what you give it with your heart. It's selfless, in my opinion.
And yeah, when you give, you shouldn't look at expect returns. That's
Yeah.
not what your
Yeah.
heart should do. Your heart should do because it's the right thing to do at the
Yeah.
right time.
Right. Yeah. What about attitude?
Oh, attitude is critical. You got, back in my old school, old coach Bob Hirschfield used to always say, you got to have the right attitude, right tude. You got to have the right tude. So I guess coming into any environment, the attitude will define how you are able to be successful.
Yeah.
Coming into a situation, you need to think, process, follow procedures, protocol, and that attitude now will allow you to be successful.
Mhm.
It could make you or break you. So you got to have those right components as part of your attitude. So now it's a behavioral thing. It's a non-verbal thing. It's how you process things, how folks engage with you to determine your social environment,
Mhm.
your racial identity. All
Mhm.
of those things create your attitude and how
Mhm.
you see the world, how I see the world. So I'm creating attitudes by being in my position. You're creating attitudes in your position. The folks in the CIAA are creating attitudes for our large base of followers out there.
Yeah.
So we're creating attitude. So my attitude is what I see, how I do it, and why I do it.
Love it. Love it. All right. What about, so the N was a little tricky. I always say negate or negative, right? But I want something positive out of that in Thanksgiving. In a season of being thankful, the N is negate or negative. What do you do with that?
Well, there. Look, we're in athletics. And I always tell people, I ain't seen a coach team that has won every damn game that they play. So I don't care how great you think you are, you ain't winning everything. So people look at that as a negative sometimes. So out of negativity, I want to look for the success in that negativity.
Yeah.
What can we take away that's going to make us better so it negatives become a positive?
Yeah.
Like Biggie Smalls would say, I'm taking negative to positive. So I have to know that I am going to deal with some negatives. Just like this recent situation I had with my class, and there was a test and some processes and didn't go well. I said, look, that's behind me. I'm going to move forward. So I'm taking this negativity to positivity. And now how can I strengthen upon that? We all know what our strengths are. You know,
Yeah.
we got straight, if you got a athlete, I was a basketball player, and if all you could do is dunk the ball, well, can you shoot it?
Yeah.
Can you dribble it? You
Yeah.
know, dunking is just a small part. It's only going to get you 2 points. But if you're walking and if you can't pass it, then you're limited. So that negative part of all of us, we all got negative part. I know I got them. I just, and when someone points it out to me, I got to recognize. And that's the thing that
Yeah.
we don't do. People don't recognize the negative issues that they have in their life. And then they carry and they force it. And it leads to a lack of non-productivity. So if you want to
Mhm.
be productive, you want to be successful, you got to recognize your negative aspects of life, the negative aspects that are in your life. You got to get rid of those. You got to move ahead. I deal with my brother all the time. And he just, my brother and I have been on, if you saw the two of us, we'd be like night and day. And I'm talking about night and day. You would say that that's your brother. So, but he's coming around. And my thing is, I never ever give up on anybody until they absolutely give up on themselves. And he hasn't given up on himself, and he's learning. And he's come clear with some things where I used to say, well, this is bothering me. Nah, nah, nah. He's recognized it. Yeah, I had a problem. I had a problem. And that was enlightening to me. He's taking those negative things and now he's turning them around. And to me, I have to stay with that. He's recognizing his negative things. I recognize my negative things with dealing with him. Maybe I was too hard on him. Maybe I yelled at him too much. So I have to be more positive as I go along. So I don't know if I got long-winded with that
No.
negative question, but I think that we all have negativities in us, but we have to negate those negativities to move forward to be positive.
No, I like it. I mean, I think as you think about all the things that we've been through, I mean, we can make negatives. There could be a lot of negatives in a day, right? But how
Mhm.
do you change that to be a positive, right? And as I think about thank God, that I'm still here because the negative could be I'm not here. So I think looking for the positive in those things that appear to be negative. And like you said, some of it's just our own heads and our hearts that we believe it's something bad when it's really not. And it might just be from our own experiences. I like that. What about kind?
Oh, you always got to be kind. I think even when things aren't going well, you have to be kind. And I think kindness is something that is lacking in this world today. Even when we're on different sides of the fence, I don't have to be rude to make a point of my position. And we got too many people who are out here being unkind to each other, threatening to each other. And this is just permeating throughout our souls, throughout the country, beyond hues. We're just not seeing anything but evil sometimes.
Mhm.
And that is a virus that is, I don't know if we could ever get a system to clean that virus out, but we need to work on it. So kindness is a beautiful thing. I think that as I go through life, and it's so crazy now. I love to say hello to people as I'm walking down the street, but you know, you got masks on. You don't know if they what they if you say hello to them, they don't know what they're looking like. And another thing, we live in this technology world where our young people and even our grown adults, everybody's got an earbud in their ear and they're walking around, so you don't know who they're talking to or what they're doing. So you have to adjust to be kind to everybody, allowing folks, who are struggling, to help them cross the street. Simple things
Yeah.
that used to be taken for granted. Holding the door open for somebody, opening the door for somebody. Those little things are just a little bit of kindness to people. And then sometimes we're not kind to the people that we love, and that's a problem. Situations where people, family members, who just aren't nice to each other, and they get into these wars, these battles of wars over things, over materialistic things, and it's the Hatfields and the McCoys, so they will argue about something, and 30 years later, they don't even know what they're arguing about, but they're still arguing. And then life's too short to go to our death with baggage.
I agree.
We got to take that baggage, and we have to put it on the baggage carousel and let that get taken away someplace, and then move on with our lives.
Yeah. Clyde, the whole kind thing has been on my whole series this year. And one thing that I talk about a lot, even with Simone, is that, you being kind at school, you should be also kind at home. And if you're kind at home, you should be kind at work. And if you're kind at work, you should be kind to the people that you say you love, right? And it all comes back down to how you're kind to yourself. Many of us are not kind to ourselves in this
True.
season, right? Even as leaders, we beat ourselves up, maybe not for the decisions, or maybe, we're not doing enough, and that's not necessarily being kind. So I think really, like you said, honing down on being kinder to ourselves, but also giving grace to other people in the process. Yeah.
Jackie, as you say that, and you talked about Simone, and all the different environments that if you have to think about being kind and you're not kind, it's
Yeah.
just something that's just part of your life, that you always are. It's who you are. You
Yeah.
know, like, kind people don't say, I'm kind. That's a good point. People say I'm good. I'm kind.
Yeah.
That's something you should be all the time. It's
Yeah.
something you shouldn't
It's
have to
part of
say
your
I am.
DNA.
Yeah,
Yeah. Part
yeah,
of who you are. Yeah. And
yeah.
some people have to practice it a little bit more than, some people have to practice being thankful. I mean, it's something that you have to just be intentional about, in your day to day of being grateful. We can get up and be upset about the day, but really, let's be thankful that you just woke up. I mean, I have to remind myself I can start my day with a lot of negativity based on what's going on in the world, but I'm just thankful that I have another chance today with some gratitude. So I think when we change our language and be kind to ourselves, we're better people to serve, which is my last one for thanks, in serving.
So service is a combination of everything you just talked about. Being kind, understanding what service means, being gracious, looking into the mirror, and understanding that you like what you see, and if you don't like what you see, it's time to make the adjustments and improvements. I hate to use the word change, because people, when they see change, they panic. But let's make some adjustments and improvements so I could be a better person. And then when I'm a better person, I can serve folks in a better way. Because I'm looking at myself, I'm good with myself. If you're not good with yourself, there's no way you could be good to others. So I have to be good with myself, and I look and count my blessings. I don't look and say, I wish I had this and I wish I had that. And uh, I thankful, since I bought a house, Jackie, back in New York and here, every time I come into my house, I rub the side of my house. I rub the side of my house. Say, thank you for keeping me warm in the cold. Thank you for keeping me cool in the hot. Thank you for keeping the rain off me when it's wet outside. Thank the Lord that I have some place to rest my head. And I don't care how big the place is, how small the place is.
Yeah.
It's a place of comfort. It's a place that I reside in. I rub my children. What are you rubbing on me, Dad? I rub because you're here, and I'm thankful that you are who you are and where you are. I'm a long way away from them. I haven't seen them in a bit because they're in New York, down here in Maryland. But because of technology, we keep in touch, and they are just some of the most loveliest people, regardless of they are my children who exist. They are a fun group. They're having a good time. So the service part is how you interact with your community, and
Yeah.
how your community looks at you to see who you are and what you bring to the table. Everybody brings something to the table,
Mhm.
no matter what it is. And people can't say, well, I don't have anything. You have something. You have your soul, your heart, your spirit. So you come and bring that to the table and you engage with people on those levels, and people will accept you every time for who you are and not what you are.
Yeah, I love that, Clyde. Well, that's my thanks. I mean, I'm gonna hold on to the things that you shared today, but I want to be very intentional in this season, and as we continue to move forward, just to be thankful. I'm so grateful for the CIAA, and I'll say it every single day. There's no better place or community that I can be in that allows me to be my best self every day, to have my voice, to see my skin and my hair as beauty, and to help make these student athletes feel good about who they are at our 12 member institutions or 13, and give them a chance to grow and have a voice as well. I mean, that's the jobs that we get to do every day. And I think I shared last week when I woke up on championship day for football, I had that negative feeling. And I was just like, I was missing everything that I know about our players and our volleyball and cross country. But then I was very thankful, that we made the decisions that we made because they're safe, right? We may not be where we want to be, but I am confident that God is going to open up doors for us that we can't even imagine what they look like when we get on the other side of this. So I want to personally thank you for being such an amazing friend and
Oh,
such an amazing partner, and a leader. You exemplify what I think all leaders should exemplify, and that's a heart of service. Somebody I can trust that brings the attitude of gratitude every day, that don't play with negativity at all, because you're always making that moment what it should be, and you're just such a kind person, and you're willing to give and give of yourself in all the circles that you serve in. So happy Thanksgiving, my brother.
well, happy Thanksgiving to you, sir. I'm trying to reach for some tissues, but I ain't got none right now in my arm's length. But I appreciate all those kind words, Jackie. And and working with you has been, even before we got to the
Oh
CIAA.
yeah, we
You
gotta
and
get.
I have a long term relationship that we used to work together when I was at NYT and on committees, and how you're doing things, why we're doing things, and supporting each other. And now coming into the CIAA has been a godsend for me. It really has been. It has been a rebirth of my soul. Um, Coming into Bowie State, when I left NYT on not on such good terms, I was wondering what my next step was going to be. And a lot of people reached out to me, and I had an opportunity to navigate some things and try to determine what my next step. You know that old song by Sly and the Family Stone, "Thank you for letting me be myself again." Well,
Yes.
Bowie State allowed me to be myself again. They really did. I mean, I came down here, went through the process, and it has been a joy. I can't even believe I'm going into my 6th year already. That's how wonderful things have been. The people at in the conference, I love my conference mates. I love going. My ADs, they are the greatest things in the world. We get up and we might get after each other, but at the end of the day, we chat and chew, and we are all good at the end of the day. And they are just funny. They're good, loyal, dedicated people. The folks here at Bowie State University are just amazing. I mean, simply amazing. And, you know, black folk, they get after each other. We get after each other. We could be a little hard on each other. Even when we say hello to each other, yo, how you doing? You squeezing, hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Squeezing on each other. Yo, let me go, man. You're choking me. But you know what? It's all love. They it's all love. So I feel the love, and I just, and it radiates. It permeates. It just engulfs you. So I, even when I'm down, I might say, for like my old basketball coach Frank Morris used to say, you got 5 minutes a day to feel sorry for yourself. Then you got to get going. You got to get going. You're gonna get busy living or get busy dying. He said, and
Yeah.
I ain't dying right now, so I'm get busy living. So I take my 5 minutes, then off I go. Off I
Yes.
go. I'm running with it. So Jack, you are a blessing to yourself, first of all. You know who you are. You've grown. You've evolved. And that's the key. The revolution is an evolution. And we
Yes.
keep evolving because the revolution is strong in our bodies. It is strong. So we evolve. And then that evolution takes us in so many different directions where we have to channel that energy to positivity, kindness, greatness. And we're moving in those directions. So you keep doing what you're doing. I'm hitching my wagon up to you, and let's go, Larry. We're gone. We're moving in the
Yeah.
right direction, and the CIAA is moving in the direction. And although we're not down, this is not a boxing match. We're not getting counted out. We're on the sideline waiting for the bell to ring again.
Yes.
Taking a pause. The lights went out for a few minutes. Okay, so we'll wait till they come back on. When they come back on, bam, we're coming out. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And we're
Yes.
gonna be back playing football next year, playing basketball, volleyball, everything else, softball, tennis, golf, all the great things, track, indoor, outdoor. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be moving it, and the CIAA is gonna be rocking and rolling.
Yes. See, I'm ready.
Let's
I'm
go.
ready. Look, I always say visionaries see beyond today,
Absolutely.
right? And so I will tell our fans and people, we got you. So you got to know that CIAA, you are in great hands. You are in a great community. And whatever we decide to do, it's always with our community in mind. We don't operate well in silos. We're destructive in silos. So we are better together. So, Clyde, let me say this. I'm not going to say happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to say happy Thanksgiving.
Whoa, that's a good one, girl. We got to put that on. That's part of the MacAttack now. Happy
I
Thanksgiving.
got that from my pastor this morning, so don't let me
Okay.
act like I stole that. But that's
Oh man, but we ain't gonna tell him. We ain't gonna tell him. It's like Festivus. It's like Festivus.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's been great. I hope that you had a blessed weekend and enjoy the time. I hope that our fans and everyone who tunes in, we want to thank you. We're thankful that you watch us weekly and you help us tell our stories. There's no better stories than the CIAA and our family that comes back and all of our guests that we've had at this point. So we have another part of our season after this holiday, and then we'll wrap up the second season. But I really, 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 really do wish you all a very safe, a prosperous Thanksgiving, no matter where you are and what's going on. And just know that you have a commissioner that prays for you every single day. It matters that much to me. So enjoy the holiday season, Clyde. I love you and thank
Love
God
you
for
too.
you.
Love you too. I can't say it any better than you just said. And happy Thanksgiving to all.
Yes.